to get that vaccine.
Getting Ohioans vaccinated. A new group will be eligible for the COVID shot later this week. Who's next in line? And what's in that vaccine? A local doctor weighs in on how the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is very similar to others we've received in our lifetime.
Marching into savings. Our consumer investigator, Danielle Serino, shows us what's worth your money this month. What's new at Great Lakes Brewing Company? The company's first ever light beer is now on the market. We have all the details about it and what else they're brewing up.
I'm Emily. How are you?
I know who you are. I love you.
Do you have any idea what's going on right now?
No.
And our Emily Mayfield gifts a much deserving local nurse with a day of pampering. But the surprises don't stop there. What else she has up her sleeve? What's new starts right now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And a very good hello again to everyone in Northeast Ohio. Thanks so much for choosing What's New. We start, Betsy, another week and another month of What's New today. I hope everyone had a terrific weekend. Alongside Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford. Betsy, a very good Monday to you. Hope you had a good weekend.
Good Monday to you, too. March coming in a little bit like a lionish lamb. Kind of a weird way to put it.
Didn't feel like the first day of, what is it, the first day of meteorological spring?
It's the first day of meteorological spring, yes. A little cool for the date, but we certainly got to see a little sunshine. Now we have some snow that's coming down. Matt Wentz is going to join us in just a couple minutes to catch us up with the latest on that. But we turn a new week, a new month, and a new group coming out with COVID vaccines. We're going to start with that today. That is really big news from Governor DeWine. This afternoon, he expanded the COVID-19 vaccine list, and starting this Thursday, thousands more Ohioans will be eligible to get the vaccine. Laura Queso once again following this for us today. Laura, who is part of Group 1C?
Betsy, it is a long list, and those in Group 1C can start getting the vaccine. You said it, just 3 days. This is welcome news for so many of you. Those eligible include those 60 and older, those living with type 1 diabetes, women who are pregnant, recipients of a bone marrow transplant, and those living with ALS. Also, law enforcement officers, corrections officers, including state and federal, those working in child care services, and those working in funeral care services.
We had stayed on 65 for almost a month or close to a month, based upon all the facts that I talked about, the additional vaccine coming in and the openings that we were seeing in reservations for vaccinations. We felt it was time to make this expansion.
Now, the governor did acknowledge some people are still having trouble getting the vaccine, but he says with the state increasing to 1,200 vaccination sites and more than 400,000 doses coming in this week, we should see a smoother process soon. DeWine said that Phase 1C, including those 60 and older, makes up about 900,000 people. Again, this new group is eligible on Thursday, and Betsy, welcome news for so many.
Definitely is. Thousands more coming out. We'll have more information on the upcoming Johnson & Johnson vaccine, too. That's been really exciting. Thanks so much, Laura.
Sure.
Yeah, Betsy, speaking of that, now on your feed at 5, today is the start of a game-changing week of sorts. The federal government plans to ship nearly 100,000 Johnson & Johnson vaccine shots to Ohio this week. And while it won't solve all of our problems right at once, it will certainly make a dent. Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins joining us now on What's New. Monica, this vaccine is different from the others. We've explained that. What do you know that might make Americans feel more comfortable getting this vaccine?
Well, you know, Jay, by now you probably know the Johnson & Johnson shot is a one-shot deal. So by the end of this week, 96,100 Ohioans will be one and done. That's great news. Another bonus about this vaccine is that it's made the way our other traditional vaccines have been made. Nothing fancy, the old school tried and true method. And the hope is that that may ease some minds of people who are not sure about getting it.
Introduce the vaccine into the body using the common cold virus. This is what we're used to with other vaccines. Now with Johnson & Johnson, well, guess what? That's more commonly used way to administer vaccines. So I'm hoping that even just for this reason, that people will be more willing to take it, even people that were scared to take Pfizer and Moderna.
Now, I know many might be upset that the governor expanded vaccine eligibility, so it's because it's so hard to get an appointment right now, or maybe you're still not included in that next group. But for those who are, remember, even though you can register, it still may be a while before you get it. Providers are still working on older folks, so take a look at the numbers. So far, about 2/3 of those over age 80 received at least one dose, about half of those 70 to 79, and about a third of those 65 to 69 managed to get one dose. Now, those numbers drop significantly for those who've received both doses. So remember, providers are still going by age. So if you are on the younger end or you're part of the new group, have patience, register where you can. And remember, if you're going to shoot for those appointment-only places, I'm told early hours Sunday into Monday may give you a better shot at signing up, but that's no guarantee. And obviously, the new influx of vaccine, Jay, is huge news. That's great. It's definitely going to make a dent. But, you know, we're not expected to get 100% by any means. If we can get at least 85% of those older folks, that's still going to be huge, and that's going to make a big difference. So the hope is that more vaccine, more people vaccinated, and coming up tonight at 6, if you do have to wait, I'm going to tell you what you need to have in your medicine cabinet that will protect you in case you do get COVID.
Okay, that's very interesting. You've caught my attention. Monica, thank you very much. It's all good news. We'll see you at 6. Betsy?
Well, also today, Governor DeWine talked about students getting back into the classroom. Now, remember, he set a March 1st goal date to make sure every Ohio student had at least the option to choose in-person learning. They have that option for the most part, but as of today, there are 8 districts statewide that are not back in person. Most of them are larger districts, too. In Northeast Ohio, we're talking about Cleveland, Akron, and Garfield Heights systems. Akron schools will welcome back kindergarten through 2nd graders next week, with the rest of the kids returning on the 15th. A spokesperson there says larger districts are returning later because there's more planning needed to make it all work.
For some, it would be very easy, and I would guess the smaller districts would find it easier than the larger districts. And if you look at the ones that have struggled the most, they are among the 8 largest school districts in the state. And I don't think that's a coincidence.
Well, Garfield Heights will have students return to the classroom next Monday. Cleveland has a plan to get all students back by March 22nd after a phased-in approach that they started in order to bring students back today. That got delayed.
Well, Betsy, this is good news for frequent travelers. If you are a traveler, you know from going to different airports around the country that Cleveland's airport isn't exactly cutting edge. Well, that might be changing. New changes could be on the way to Cleveland's airport. The city is expected to unveil its long-term plans, which include major changes to the terminal and concourses coming soon. The current terminal was designed to accommodate smaller planes, unloading fewer passengers than we see today. The city's airport director, Robert Kennedy, recently told City Council that Cleveland needs to look past the pandemic and prepare for some much-needed upgrades.
Our TSA checkpoints were undersized. Our baggage security screening, undersized. Our gate areas, our terminal parking, roadways, regional access, all needed attention. And our rental car facility needed to be walkable.
Now, the director also says the master plan was shaped by public input and will be phased in over 20 years. He acknowledged changes will be tough to sell right now to the airlines in particular because they're trying to cover their losses over the last couple of months because of a lack of travel due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So, Betsy, I think it's safe to say when you travel around the country and you've been to some of these other airports, Cleveland has fallen woefully behind.
Right.
Not just in the facilities, but just the appearance. When you pull up to the airport, it doesn't have that shiny new feeling that some of these major city airports do. And I think overall, I can't really find anything negative about this. I mean, we don't know what the cost of it's going to be yet. Hopefully the airlines will pick up a lot of it, but I think you'd agree it's needed.
I guarantee you the cost will be a negative because it's expensive to do any of these airport changes. And I laugh because all of the video that we showed was all about the D gates, the mysterious D gates that are now sealed off from all of humanity because they're just out there. What are you going to do with that? The whole rental car thing, I mean, you know, there's other airports that you have to bus to the rental car. I think that's the least of our worries at this point.
Yeah.
Let's just figure out getting those planes in and out and making sure everybody can shuttle through just fine.
We can do better, and it sounds like we will. All right, tonight on What Matters Most, we'll have more on how the pandemic affected passenger traffic and city's forecast for travel this year. As you can imagine, it'll be much different than it was a year ago. Next on What's New.
I can't cry. I can't even speak.
Lindsay, hi.
I love a good surprise, and we've got a big one from Emily Mayfield to one of our viewers. You've got to see what she did for this local healthcare hero. It's great.
Plus, the 2021 Golden Globes are in the books. We'll have a look at the big winners, the fashions from home, for the most part, and those virtual moments. That's all ahead in your pop break.
And Matt Wentz, I liked the weather so much better at the end of last week, but hey, you got to take the good with the bad.
Ooh, you see that wind kicking that camera around.
It is. That camera's shaking like crazy. We can hear it outside here as well. Changeable skies, we'll call it that. We've got bursts of snow across the area as well. What a change over 24 hours ago. But over the course of the rest of the show, I'm going to get to know March. Much like a fine wine, it's our 4th driest month, and we still average a foot of snow. I'm sorry. We'll talk about it coming up.
Okay, brace yourself. We've got another foot to come. Well, this week, Save Our Sauce takes us to University Circle, Little Italy. One of the cutest bakeries in that area is called, I love the name, Fluffy Duck. It's on Chester Avenue, serves up delicious pastries and coffee. Check out this restaurant and more from our Doug Tratner. You can do it at WKYC.com/SaveOurSauce. What's new? Coming right back.
I got you. You got me, Al? Check 1 2 3. 1 2 3 1 2. Check 1 2. Okay. Thank you. I don't know. You want to walk down and see?
This pandemic has been so stressful for so many, but it's been extremely difficult on our healthcare workers. We've seen images nationwide and here at home of doctors and nurses stressed and exhausted. And yes, They show up every day, putting themselves and their families at risk of COVID-19, and they do so exceptionally well. So our 3 News correspondent, Emily Mayfield, decided to give a frontline worker a well-deserved day of pampering, and she asked viewers to send us nominations.
I've always known that she's just an incredible person. When this whole pandemic thing hit, to see and hear the things that she's gone through, for her to still be that same person is really just kind of, I guess, shed a new light on just really how amazing she is.
Jared Wells sees his wife Lindsay's dedication firsthand. She's a mom of 2, and as an ICU nurse, she's been at the front lines of the pandemic, helping those who need it most. He wrote to us here at Channel 3 to nominate Lindsay for a very well-deserved day of pampering.
Lindsay is the driving force that has helped our family keep moving forward. I am so proud of everything she has accomplished and everything she continues doing. Lindsay Wells is truly an amazing nurse, mother, wife, and person.
Does she have any idea that you submitted that?
She has no clue.
So we got to work behind the scenes, pulling together some very special surprises. All the while, Jared somehow kept it under wraps.
Hey, Linz, can you come here real quick?
Oh my gosh.
Hi there, Lindsay.
Hi.
I'm Emily. How are you?
I know who you are. I love you.
Do you have any idea what's going on right now?
No.
We want to get back to some of our healthcare heroes, and your husband Jared wrote the most beautiful submission about you. I mean, how does that make you feel?
I can't even cry. I can't even speak.
Lindsay shared with me just how difficult this last year has been.
It's tough to talk about without, getting pretty emotional. We've seen a lot of sad things. It's changed me. It's changed me as a person. It's changed me as a nurse for the better.
Well, Jared had amazing things to say, and he did mention that it's been kind of hard to find you time. He said your last haircut was by him.
Oh my God.
We wanted to surprise you with a day of pampering. So here are a few of my good friends who will explain a little bit more.
Hi, Lindsay. My name's Tabitha from Sacred Hours Spa.
I'm Dr. Elle at Revital Med Spa.
This is Kathleen from West Park Beauty Salon.
We are so appreciative for all of your hard work.
I'm so excited to invite you for a custom cut and color service.
One of our newest treatments.
We are going to be doing a wonderful Diamond Glow facial.
It's just our way of saying thank you for everything you've been doing during this time.
I'm looking forward to meeting you.
Thank you so much. You have no idea, I'm going to start crying. You have no idea how hard this has been for me this whole year, and I appreciate it.
You're so inspiring. So thank you. Lastly, since he made you get dressed up, we're going to just provide you guys with a little night in with dinner. And that's just from me and the WKYC family and Baker as well.
You opened the door and said Baker.
Is he there?
Any chance Baker's there right now?
Are you still here? Okay, hold tight one sec. We might have one more surprise in store.
Is this happening right now? Are you serious?
What's going on? How are you guys?
Hi, how are you? Come here.
Hi.
You guys Browns fans?
Yeah.
Nice meeting you guys.
Yes.
Good luck with everything. We'll get you guys to a game next season. Thanks.
All right, thank you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
What is going on?
Go.
I just won the Super Bowl.
So from our team to yours, thank you, Lindsay, and to all of our healthcare workers for all of your hard work. Emily Mayfield, 3 News.
How cool is that? And can you imagine those kids seeing Baker sit down like, that's Baker Mayfield. And then he says, you guys are going to come to a game next season.
Yeah.
What a cool, mega bonus.
It's like the cherry on top.
Right?
And what I love is when, you could tell that there was a little trepidation in asking, is Baker there?
Yeah, right.
And then when she calls him, let me get Baker. He's in the other wing of the home. She calls him, and then of course when he shows up, that's just I love too. I just won the Super Bowl.
Oh, so cute.
That is great.
And
I love a great surprise.
Absolutely.
That was really good. That was fun to watch.
And the whole family got to be in on it too.
She deserves it.
Love
She really
seeing
does.
that.
All our frontline workers.
Well, speaking of the whole family being in on it, Matt Wintz and I had a little chat yesterday as we were working and got to see Wyatt and all the other kids. It was so much fun. Did you ever get the kids cleaned up from the mud, I guess would be the first question.
Yeah, Betsy, that was a lot of fun, and big mistake number one on part of Daddy and Mama was to send them out in the mud puddles, and it came together nicely towards evening. They're fine. They took a nice nap yesterday, so we're good.
Matt, here's a promise. 15 years from now, I promise you, you won't remember the cleanup. You'll remember them jumping in the mud puddle. Yep. I promise you that. And they will too. They will too. Your word today, by the way, is generous. I feel inspired after watching Emily and Baker. They've been generous, and so that's your word for today.
Got it. Absolutely. I appreciate the advice, Jay, for sure. I know time flies, but boy, it goes slow sometimes in this stage, I'll tell you, with all these kids underneath 5 years old. But it's a reward every day, I promise you. You know what's not really too rewarding is the weather right now. We have this just stark contrast versus yesterday. We mentioned over the last couple of days we'd see these bursts of snow this evening. And boy, we've seen them, especially north and east and then down towards the south. We've had really two main bands. So getting into this reduced visibility, then it's out of here. With temperatures, not a whole lot sticking. We have had a gentle coating to maybe a half an inch out towards the east, but this is starting to wind down. You can see Chardon getting some snow stretching over towards Jefferson, roaming shores. Here's a look courtesy ODOT I-90 at the Chardon exit there, State Route 44. And I showed this earlier because you could see the dark clouds. It's such a changeable sky, but someone just moved the camera, so we're just looking at pavement there. That really doesn't help. We've seen some decent bursts of snow also. Areas of southern Lorain County, Medina, you've been in and out of the snow. That stretches all the way over to the Canton, Massillon area as well. And live look right now, 71, 271. I crossed my fingers. What's that going to show me? We've seen changeable skies. We actually had a squall move through here earlier. You can see not a whole lot in terms of accumulation with this. This will be out of here tonight. We've got dry air working in. You can see this push of snow that we had courtesy all the lakes, which are now a little bit more wide open with that recent warming trend that we've had, all driven on cold air. This cold air is going to be very brief. In fact, it came in just as quickly as it's going to go out tomorrow. Temperatures some 15 to 30 degrees colder here, but look at the warming we have off towards the west. We've got a generous warm-up that's going to kick in here as we get it into the part of this weekend, next week especially as well. But we've got a cold night tonight. National Zymark hour-by-hour forecast. Look at these lows tonight. As we clear those skies out, we may have some lows in the low teens out east. We may see some 12s, 13s on the thermometer tomorrow morning. So not a very pleasant start, but as high pressure settles in, clear blue skies tomorrow. I think it's going to be a gorgeous day. Up near 40 for a high. Keep in mind, if you're in that sunshine, especially this time of year with that higher sun angle, it's going to feel some 10 to even 12 degrees warmer. So we may be feeling more like 50 if you get out in the sun tomorrow. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. We do even better on Wednesday. However, the winds will shift Wednesday. That will take us down near the lakeshore, especially a little bit warmer inland, but 30s rest of the week. But look at this warm up next week. It looks nice next week. Jay, I think we're going to be maybe touching 60 degrees next week. So we'll enjoy this week. We'll really enjoy next week and lots of sunshine.
All right, sunshine, 60s. Those are magic words for me, Matt. Don't tease me. I can't wait now for next week. Matt, thanks. We'll see you in the next half hour. Coming up next on What's New, call it beginner's luck, but one boy's first fishing trip is a huge success, and it's all thanks to a special rod. That story is coming up. It's our Worth the Watch. And you won't forget. Welcome back to What's New. Today's Pop Break is all about the biggest moments at the Golden Globes last night. Here's Kira Cotton with a complete recap.
Award season is finally here. The 78th Golden Globes took place last night, and if you missed it, don't worry. Here's what you need to know. First and foremost, despite most of the ceremony being virtual, many stars went all out for their living room red carpets. From Regina King and Dan Levy to Amanda Seyfried and Viola Davis, the looks were stunning. And then you had those who took a more casual approach, like Jason Sudeikis, who accepted his award for Best Actor in a TV series while wearing a tie-dye hoodie. Now, for the actual ceremony, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler hosted the show from separate coasts, which was awkward, but oddly enough, not the most awkward moment of the night. The comedic pair got to business right from the start, addressing the lack of diversity within the Hollywood Foreign Press Association.
And there are no black members of the Hollywood Foreign Press. I realize HFPA, maybe you guys didn't get the memo because your workplace is the back booth of a French McDonald's, but you got to change that. So here's to changing it.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that change.
And it wouldn't be a true ceremony in the middle of a pandemic without a Zoom malfunction. As Daniel Kaluuya attempted to accept his award for Best Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture, his feed was muted. We've all been there, but after a quick adjustment, he returned to give a moving speech and even gave a shout out to Cleveland, where much of the movie Judas and the Black Messiah was filmed. The cast of The Crown also won big, taking home 4 awards last night. Soul took home the award for Best Animated Film. And last but not least, Taylor Simone, the widow of the late Chadwick Boseman, again wowed us with a moving tribute, accepting her late husband's award for Best Actor in a Motion Picture.
He would say something beautiful, something inspiring, something that would amplify that little voice inside of all of us that tells you you can, that tells you to keep going, that calls you back to what you are meant to be doing at this moment in history.
I'm Kiara Cotton, 3 News.
All right, Kiara, thank you very much. Time for our Worth the Watch. Betsy, I had a moment like this with my little Corey about 20 years ago. I'll never forget it. This little guy caught his first fish with a toy rod, throws it in the water, and wouldn't you know it, his first cast, he finds gold. Little help from Dad, not grabbing the rod, just emotional support. You can do it. And then the hug from Sis, I love. Because my little Corey got one from his older sister Kirsten that looked just like that. And then they pull it out, and here it is. Say cheese, little guy.
That's a nice little bass.
That's a well done first fish.
Great little bass.
But you know, he learned they can be a little slippery.
Yeah. I have pictures like that with my girls. Both Josie's quite the little fisher person.
Really?
She's a beast on a fishing pole. She can haul them in like nobody's business. So,
That's so
Violet's
fun.
still not too sure about the whole thing, but you know, they grow into it.
It's fun.
Well, coming up for us here on the next half hour of What's New, we're going to take a look at what's new at Great Lakes Brewery, including the company's first light beer option.
I know a lot of folks that have been waiting for that, so this is a welcome addition to their little menu there. Then, springing into sales, consumer investigator Danielle Serino is going to show us the best items that we should buy in the month of March.
And Road to Recovery. Golfers showed their support for Tiger Woods this weekend. We have all the details and his reaction in about 20 minutes. We'll be right back.
Check 1 2 3 1 2 3. Check 1 2 1 2. Check 2 1 2 3 1 2 3. Go. Thank you. I got you.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Welcome back to What's New, everybody, on this Monday afternoon. I'm Betsy Kling alongside Jay Crawford. Jay, I just want to start and say that, you know, I really admire how you are a great partner on this show, and it is an honor to get to sit next to you.
Okay, what brings that on? Is it National Compliment Day?
It is National Compliment Day.
That was a total...
How did you know?
Listen, it was a total stab in the dark.
Yeah.
I love that you've been doing this at the start of the
Trying
second
to
half
figure it
hour.
out, right?
I love that because every day is something.
It is.
It's just you got to know. So that's good. Thank you, Betsy. I think you are tremendously versatile. Whether it's weather or newscasting or being a terrific mother, I think you've got it all. There you go. So spread that. Please try to compliment somebody in your life today. It will make their day happier. But it was a guess. I didn't know that.
Well, it's also Justin Bieber's birthday. I figured the compliment thing was a better bit than
better.
Justin Bieber's birthday.
Nothing against the Biebs, but we have to do this before we swing into the second half hour. We count down to what is it?
Astronomical.
Astronomical spring.
Not
Today is meteorological first day of spring. So we are now 19 days from astronomical spring. So there you go. We're getting close, and I heard 60s and sunshine in the forecast for next week. Man, I'm getting excited about it.
Yes, and it is not astrological spring.
Oh, astrological.
No,
it's not. It's astronomical.
A lot of people get that mixed up.
Yeah, okay.
Astronomical. Astronomy,
astronomical spring.
not astrology.
And that's
although the Pisces, shout out.
Is that the day where sunshine and darkness are even?
It's the equinox.
The equinox. And then you get another one in September.
Astronomical start, yes.
Boom. Okay.
Nicely done.
Watch and learn.
All right, giddy up, everybody. Let's get to 3 things to know here at 5:30. First, the next phase of Ohio's COVID-19 vaccine distribution opens up on Thursday of this week. Governor Mike DeWine says Phase 1C is ready to go, and it is a big group, including those who are 60 plus, as well as people with type 1 diabetes, pregnant women, recipients of a bone marrow transplant, people with ALS, state and federal law enforcement officers, that would be the corrections officers, child care service employees, and those working in funeral services. We have more information on this at WKYC.com.
All right, time for your daily coronavirus numbers now. And if it seems like our new case count is going way down, that's because it is. Today marks 4 straight days where our new cases have been below 2,000. Today also marks the 5th straight day our positivity rate has been below 4%. We're checking in today at 3.8%. Hospitalizations actually clicked up by 20 patients statewide today. That breaks a string of 3 weeks of declining daily numbers there. And we're now close to 1.7 million Ohioans with at least the first vaccine. In case you're wondering, that is 14.44% of all Ohioans.
And speaking of the vaccine, a third COVID-19 vaccine is on its way to pharmacies, hospitals, and health departments nationwide, being called the One Shot. Johnson & Johnson is set to deliver 4 million doses of its COVID vaccine this week. Ohio is supposed to get 96,100 of those doses. Now, this one only requires one shot and it can be stored at regular refrigeration levels. It showed a 72% efficacy here in the United States.
All right, now on to our top talker at 5:30. As swimsuit season gets closer, many Americans are watching what they eat. And oftentimes, they are watching what they drink as well. You can pick up a lot of calories in the drinks. Well, it's something many alcohol companies have noticed, and now they're tapping into it. And Great Lakes Brewing Company is in on that fad. The Cleveland-based company released their first ever light-calorie beer today. Our Will Ewick introduces us to what's new for all of us at the brewery.
We've put a lot of work into this exciting new release, and we think people are going to love it.
A new taste accompanied by fewer calories. Great Lakes has launched the new crush-worthy low-cal citrus wheat, hoping to win over the more health-conscious consumers.
Yeah, it's just, I think you kind of look across the board in all industries. People are being much more active. They're being much more choosy about what they decide to drink or eat. And we wanted to make sure that we're kind of part of that trend too. So we wanted to brew a beer that was low on calories, but didn't necessarily sacrifice quality or flavor.
The new beer is just the latest in recent changes at the Cleveland staple. They renovated the brew pub about a year ago before opening a new canning facility in Strongsville late last year, which has helped to increase can production and allowed them to sell traditional favorites in aluminum wrapping.
There has been a huge increase in the demand for craft canned beer, and it's nice to be able to have that facility.
Whether or not the new Strongsville facility will change anything in their original plans for the property they purchased in the Scranton Peninsula remains to be seen.
Yeah, they've been keeping that tightly under wraps. We still own that land on the peninsula, but I don't have any additional comment at this time right now.
But it will lead to more staples and new flavors in a pop top in the future.
Again, we want our fans to be able to enjoy our beer anywhere they can. But now with our canning facility, it's the same liquid. We're just going to be able to open up a lot more doors for them.
As far as the latest here downtown, the Brew Pub, they closed it temporarily during the winter because of COVID. They are saying that they're talking a little bit right now about when to reopen that, but expecting to make that announcement and possibly reopen in the next several weeks. But until that time, Jay, to the right of me is the gift shop, which remains open, and they do have Crushworthy, that new brew that just came out today there right now.
Very good. I know a lot of people are going to try that. And by the way, that opening in a couple of weeks could coincide with opening day. That would be nice for Indians fans. Will, I want to ask, because I know that a lot goes into it between testing and research and development. How long does it typically take for a brewer like this to decide we want to come up with a new beer and then it's actually in cans and available? How long does that take?
Yeah, interesting question that has a spray of answers. I talked to somebody with a brewery today that said, you know, if they get it right in the first try, that's it. Now, as far as Crushworthy, they spent about 6 months doing small batch testing, Jay, and did about a half a dozen small batches until they got the one that they want. And they did tease that they're always doing some small batches and coming up with some new concoctions. They got a couple more that they're probably going to be announcing here later this year.
All right, good. That's good news, too. And listen, if this brewer is anything like all their others, I'm sure it's going to be a home run. 105 calories. Yeah. That's good. Will Ewick, live downtown. Will, thanks.
Well, of course, there's always the discussion of which is technically, quote, better for you, light beer or those hard seltzers. Now, the fact is it's all alcohol, but when it comes down to calories and alcoholic content, there are some differences. Great Lakes' new light beer has 105 calories and a 4% alcohol content. For comparison's sake, Blue Moon's Light Sky has 95 calories and is 4% alcohol. And those of you who are White Claw drinkers, White Claw and Truly, both have 100 calories, but the alcohol content is 5%. My favorite thing on the sides of those cans is that it doesn't tell you exactly what alcohol it is. It just says alcohol as an ingredient. It's interesting. According to the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, the average alcohol content for a regular beer is 5%.
Yeah. All right. You got to take the good with the bad. Yep. I think 105 calories in that range, that's pretty good in general. Right. And everything in moderation.
And that's the whole thing. No matter what you're drinking, check yourself.
Be responsible. All right, well, we finally have an answer to where J.J. Watt will play next season. Here's a hint. We didn't win. The interesting announcement and all the details coming up in Clicking in Cleveland.
Then we march into savings. From travel tickets, cars, and entertainment, Danielle Serino has your list of what to buy this month.
Hey, Al, we are talking about J.J. Watt, and he's not going to play for the Browns, and everyone's really bummed out about it. All right, thanks.
It's always something.
One of my favorite things about March is not only that we're really starting to get those longer days and get to enjoy them a little bit more, but you can literally feel things starting to warm up a little bit. It's like just this nice notion on the horizon that we have coming our way.
Betsy, the increase in the energy from the sun, I mean, you can feel it. You go outside, it's much brighter. It's just notably different outside, and that is going to start to play a role in our temperatures. That's the reason why, right? We get more energy from the sun. So let's get to know March, much like a fine wine. The average high today, 41 degrees. Where do we end up end of the month? 53, that's the midpoint. So we could easily see those 60s and 70s. Typically, we do get our first 70-degree temperature in the month of March. In terms of lows, 26 is our average now. By the end of the month, we end up around 35. And then the thing I think everyone's really going to notice is the daylight. In terms of our sunrise, it was 7 a.m. this morning. It's 7:11 by the end of the month, but don't forget, we spring forward this month, so that sunset goes from just beyond 6 now to almost 8 o'clock by the end of this month, folks. We have made it. I always measure it based on when that sunset is, but it's not helping right now. It really isn't. Temperature is pretty chilly outside. Look at this. We were down into the 20s with some of the snow falling out in Ashtabula, Geauga County. Ashtabula Airport was down to 29. The rest of us, you can see it's kind of hodgepodge. If you get some of that snow, it helps bring some of that colder air down from aloft, so your temp will drop pretty quickly, and then it'll kind of rebound. And the wind has been gusty as well. We've seen gusts over 30 pretty much all day today. The good news about the wind, it will start to subside as we go through the overnight. These are your top wind gusts. Most of the time will be anywhere from about 5 to 15 overnight tonight, but you could see how those winds really ease up tonight. That will really help to cool us down because we've got high pressure that'll slowly settle in. So look at temperatures back into the teens tonight for many of us. We will see clearing skies. We've already seen the partly cloudy skies, but things should really start to clear out pretty nicely. The snow's starting to wind down. Still some pretty decent bursts of snow right down there towards areas of Canton. You can see we're really dwindling the snowfall coverage in areas of Geauga County. Heaviest is now down towards the south. This is all being driven on some very cold air. This is actually an Arctic cold front that's moving through. November, this would be a shock. Now we're like, we just went through February. We're okay. But look at the temperatures tonight. I think these may be a little bit mild in spots. We may dip down to near 10 degrees in some of the outlying locations. Don't forget, we don't have that thick snowpack anymore, so that will help to keep us a little bit milder. Lots of sunshine for your Northeast Ohio Tuesday. Temperatures up near 40 by afternoon. Where do we go from there? So the cold air heads on out. Watch the warmth off towards towards our west, it stays here as we go throughout the rest of the week. There'll be a blocking pattern, so the cold will turn the wind off the lake. So unfortunately, we're in for a pretty chilly mid to late week. But by next week, this is what Jay Crawford's been asking for. We get a nice ridge out towards the east. This ought to propel our temperatures if this holds in the forecast next week to more of those spring-like levels we're waiting for. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. Lots of sunshine, though. We'll mix some clouds in as we turn the wind off the lake Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So colder. It will be warmer inland. But here comes the warm-up. Sunday, Monday is when we flip the switch. And, Jay, we're talking temperatures in the 40s, 50s. Can we do 60? We'll have to wait for Betsy to show that 10-day tonight.
All right, we'll wait. And on this National Compliment Day, Matt, I want to tell you, I think you're just a terrific gentleman. You're a great father and a terrific co-worker. And Betsy co-signs all that.
You got my Christmas card. You finally got it.
Finally, yeah.
I certainly did.
Yeah, sorry.
Matt, thanks. We'll see you later. It is time now to see what is clicking in Cleveland. And for that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Stephanie, a very good Monday afternoon to you. Hope you had a great weekend.
Thanks, Jay. I hope you did too. And on this Monday, JJ Watt is officially over, and he is not signing with the Cleveland Browns. JJ Watt is signing with the Arizona Cardinals. He broke the news himself on Twitter, posting a photo working out in Cardinals gear, and he's getting paid too. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport says he's getting $31 million for 2 years, with $23 million guaranteed. So now the Browns will have to look elsewhere to shore up that defensive line. You can check out Ben Axelrod's analysis of who they could try to sign on WKYC.com. Here's what's new in restaurants. Chef Douglas Katz, who had to close his popular Eastside restaurant Fire due to the pandemic, has created ghost kitchens.
We thought, what can we do with this? Well, it's our catering commissary, so we could create these concepts that we've dreamed about, really, and launch them as ghost kitchens.
The idea is no dining room, just a kitchen. You order online and you pick it up or you get it delivered. Katz offers Indian cuisine at Amba and South American food at Chimmy, and the concept to test things out worked pretty well because now Katz plans to open a full-service Amba in November. More new on the food scene. Beechwood is continuing its free takeout delivery with contracted drivers through March. The city says the program has saved participating restaurants about $17,000 in its first 2 months. That's when you consider the usual 30% fees from those delivery apps. And customers have saved about $30,000 in menu upcharges by using the service. Now, this is the first partnership between a city and restaurants for delivery of its kind, Jay and Betsy. We got this, we got the ghost kitchens. We are really on the cutting edge in the restaurant industry with innovation here in Northeast Ohio.
We are now. We have been for a while. And I love the idea of the ghost kitchens. I think it's a perfect time to pivot. I think it'll work nicely.
Give it a try. All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you, Steph. Still ahead on What's News, support is pouring in for Tiger Woods. Did you see what his fellow golfers on the PGA Tour did for him yesterday? It's actually pretty cool. And Tiger was touched by it. We have that story next.
Then, with the start of a new month comes new sales. Consumer investigator Danielle Serino shares the top things to buy in March and what to wait for.
Yeah, I got you here, buddy. Okay, no rush, thanks.
It is Money Monday, and you know, March is a bit of a strange month anyway, but when it comes to sales, it falls in between two other big shopping holidays, President's Day and Memorial Day, so we're kind of in the middle area. But as consumer investigator Danielle Serino reports, retailers will always find an excuse to lure you into the stores, so don't put away your wallet just yet.
I'm a person that likes to touch, feel, and see, so I really don't like buying online unless I absolutely have to.
Irene Botsko is old school and actually likes being in stores despite COVID.
I really love shopping.
She finds sales even in months like March when they're scarce.
March is kind of a wasteland, and what ends up happening is for things like St. Patrick's Day, we see retailers kind of jump on board with that because it's like, well, there's nothing else coming up for a while.
But no matter the season, you can always get deals on things that are going out of season.
Coats, gloves, anything you need for winter, buy it now because the prices have started to come down. Retailers want to clear off their shelves of all of those winter items so they can bring in the spring items.
That might not help if you're planning a warm weather spring break, but March travel deals will.
Domestic airfare is one of the categories that we're seeing a lot of discounts on right now. They've waived any change fees, which means that you can actually buy a ticket, and if you need to change it, you can do that and not have to pay a price. Car rentals are offering discounts and deals right now as well.
And if you need new luggage for that trip, put that on your itinerary as well.
We usually see Samsonite take up to 50% off. And you can also look to stores like Kohl's. Last year, they took at least 55% off on some luggage closeouts.
Even more so this year because people aren't traveling as much. But even with these discounts, who couldn't use more cash? It's why you should cash in on tax software savings. Now, to the discounts you won't see, anything to do with outdoor living, forget major appliances, and change the channel on TVs. Those sale seasons have passed, which is the same with furniture and mattresses, with one exception.
We see a lot of inventory starting to come into stores right now, mattress stores, for example. So if you are open to taking a floor sample of a mattress, you can get a really good deal.
But Irene taught us a trick to get deals any time of the year. Check out FreeCycle, a community of more than 9 million people who give and get just about anything for free to avoid landfill waste. Or Facebook Fanatics groups, which alert you to deals at your favorite places.
And they share the things that they really love and the deals that they get. So it's like the best way to try something new.
With no major sales holiday in March, retailers are using St. Patrick's Day as an excuse for sales, which means look for extra discounts the weekend before, like 17% off your purchase. I'm Danielle Serino, 3 News.
All right, Danielle, thank you very much. As always, very useful information. It's a great story. Golfers around the country are letting Tiger Woods know that they stand with him as he tries to recover from that terrible car accident. You'll remember Tiger was involved in that accident last week. Following that crash now, many golf stars decided they were going to suit up in his signature Sunday wear, which is the red top and the black pants. They did it on courses across the U.S. and at the WGC Workday Championship yesterday. Tiger responded with this tweet, which I thought was pretty cool. It is hard to explain how touching today was when I turned on the TV and saw all the red shirts. To every golfer and every fan, you are truly helping me get through this tough time. Late Friday, Tiger was transferred to another medical center where he will continue his tough, long road to recover. He shattered, you remember, his right leg, which is now held together with rods and screws and pins. Doctors say getting an infection is now one of their biggest concerns, and that will go on probably for the next couple of months. Betsy, tough road ahead. Certainly going to be a long recovery, but this wouldn't be the first time he's had to overcome long odds. I'm not going to bet against him.
How many back surgeries has he had? And think about how important your back is playing golf. It's kind of a big deal.
It's the motor, really.
He's a fighter, so all the best.
Don't count him out. Coming up next now, what's new? A simple stop during a soccer game. The reason behind this player taking a moment will definitely make you smile. It's coming up in our Show Us Something Good.
Then coming up at 6 on What Matters Most, an international theft ring made its way to Northeast Ohio. Who they're targeting and what to watch out for.
Did a great job. Hey there, Al. How are you? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Mitchell.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Mitchell. I'm not. Girl can dream.
Hi. Hi there. Mic check, it's Romney. I have my mic on today. It's Monday, and I'm back after 8 days off. Okay.
Check 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Brandon's microphone. This is Brandon. We're talking about schools today. Today, March 1st, the governor said.
Hey, Al. When I talked with her previously, she mentioned that zinc helps too, but again, do not take more than 25 milligrams a day. This is just awesome. A very cute video is resurfacing on social media. Watch. Oh, what's going on here, right? Well, the little man is in the middle of a game. He stops and he gives his brother a hug.
Oh my God.
And then he jumps right back into action. That's Brother of the Year worthy right there. Just because. Hey, buddy, be careful.
That really is good. That's as good as the sister hugging her younger brother for catching his first fish.
And props to the other kid for going around the little man and avoiding him, because that doesn't always happen.
See, do nice things, you make it to TV.
There you go.
We're out of time. Thanks so much for watching What's New. We're back